And welcome back. We're picking where we left off last time. Victoria 3 in a Great Qing run started in 1.9.6, but currently you can play it in 1.9.7. We're in the... basically in the stage where the GDP line goes up. We're at 1.9 billion. We're hoping to get a little bit higher before the game ends. We got 23 years with which to get that line up. One thing we are kind of running into with trying to get the line up is that we've kind of run out of raw resources to develop in the country. Go look at the resource tab. Domestically, we got a gold mine. Okay, put that in the queue. Yeah, that's all the resources we had left to put in the queue. So everything is queued up at this point to build. We have some agricultural stuff we could build. That is maybe something to go for, is a lot more grain farms. Both to not import as much, but also to have something to build. It's reasonably profitable. It's up plus 37%. Could also build more groceries. Similar sort of logic there. Cars are actually pretty cheap at the moment, so we probably don't want to get involved there. Though I maybe could do a swap. Yeah, let's go ahead and do the swap on the urban centers here. Wrong tab for the urban centers. I'm used to them being the other way around. They rearranged them on the major patch. And the swap here is swap from public transit to cars. In theory, this is actually profitable in some places. Okay. That makes engines cheaper, makes cars more expensive. Doesn't make them too expensive, so that's actually still good. We don't have radios yet, but when we get radios going, we'll probably be exporting radios. We can probably make more telephones as well. So that's maybe the next industrial good we'll work on is telephones. And then tools are pretty cheap, yeah. Okay, so let's, as part of trying to make things better, let's swap out a rotary valve. This is going to unemploy a lot of people, but we do have welfare. So by unemploying these people, there may be more places where I can get away with building construction sectors. Where you have peasants or unemployed people to put in the workplace. This is also driving up demand for tools, and in some case, coal. Which should help us be more profitable in places. Basically, any place where we have... we're basically turning all the stuff in that uses regular tools and coal. We're going to leave oil consumption off for the moment. Electricity consumption off for the moment. Yeah, it's like that. Give that a little while to cycle. That's going to cause the unemployment to jump, caused coal to jump, which is what we're currently building. So that's actually going to, in the midterm, that's probably going to generate more, or in the more GDP. Short term, it did drop the GDP a little bit because a lot of those industries are now less profitable, mainly due to the coal price. Tools are barely touched. Okay, so with that, that's probably enough to go look at the construction sectors. Search by unemployed. Did that free up some? Yes. Another 50 constructed sectors. Oh, I don't own the whole Fushis-town, that makes sense. Like, why is it stopping me at 21? Because there's a different owner that owns some of it. Okay, for more unemployment... I'm gonna have to probably turn on the labor-saving PMs on the plantations and such. There's radios. So after radios, we're going into pneumatic tools and into arc welding. Arc welding is going to be one way to increase construction sector capacity. Let's start the PM swap there. It's going to give us one last burst of extra demand for electricity as well. I can get away with swapping a little bit of the telephone makers over, I think. Telephone. Swap one over and see what that does. A lot more power consumption wherever I do it. Hopefully that'll be fine. Decent power. That's the point in Beijing. And then, yeah, you see radios start out really cheap, then demand goes shooting up. Oh, we might only really want the one on radios for the moment, apparently. Either the trade centers haven't swapped over rapidly enough to them. Yeah, we'll see how the world market picks up radios. So that's a good question, is what's the world market price for radios? I am the only supplier, so what we're waiting for is people to start consuming our demand. So I'm pushing some into the market, which is being consumed, which rinse and repeat will roll around, going better and better. Okay. Oh, and another thing we might want to do is do one more check over to see if we need more tax revenue. Deep bourgeoisie are back on corporatist. Or on corporatist. Corporate state. That's an interesting option. Swap to that. That means the only people in government are the pro-corporate party. Could go to corporate state. Yeah, it's opposed by the anarchist movement, supported by the fascists, supported by the corporates. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll move off of monarchy. I mean, government admin, low tax, high tax. Okay. And yeah, if we get into corporate state, we'll definitely be able to do a pretty heavy rejig of the government. It will technically weaken the petite bourgeoisie. Well, it'll both empower the petite bourgeoisie and weaken the petite bourgeoisie. As counterintuitive as that sounds. Okay, what to work on next? We do have a pretty heavy demand for more art. 8 art each. We're importing it. The import's basically nothing, so it's basically 1400 art. We'll have a little bit more demand shift to it as we build art, so we'll say like 1600 art. So 100 of these is 800. So, but 200 art academies. Sort by unemployment. That's 200 art academies. That didn't actually put a lot in the queue, surprisingly. So what do I want to work on next? groceries, maybe? Build another 100 grocers. Yeah, we'll do a little more than 100. We'll see how that goes. And again, in the pursuit of some unemployed people, we did actually lower the GDP a bit. It'll hopefully come back. And as everything builds up. The next labor-saving thing is probably do transport. In fact, that might actually just generate some revenue. So when this queue is mostly done, we'll do activate the labor-saving transport on all the rural buildings. Oh, apparently I'm not able to do military assistance. That's probably just fine. Be surprised. Are they actually willing to renegotiate this? Can we take the military assistance off? And the money transfer? Yeah. Give them a little bit less money. We're going to get investment rights off them. There we go. Okay, so we're definitely at the point where I want to do that labor saving that I was talking about earlier. So that is come through here and rail transport, so on and so forth. We'll probably have transportation shortages in various places, so we'll have to go around and do a pass on that. Okay, a little week pass, and then we'll queue up some transport, I assume. Okay, so we're making... How much is a button press here? It's saying 60. It's actually 60. 35. Could get a little bit more from the diesel, but we'll say 35. So it's about 50. 50 before 3-point modifiers, okay. So that's 150, or that's 1,500. That's the amount we want, okay. Oops. Why was the shift not clicking there? Right. Okay, the control's working. Is the shift working? Surprisingly, not as short as I was expecting. Now, part of that might be we have a company that specializes in rail transport. Yeah. I'm going to lay on that issue. And the automakers are... more automakers are being made. Apparently there is demand for cars. Railroad boom. And we're gonna have to build more merchant marine, apparently. But yeah, that's the last easy labor-saving PM. That brings up to 11.3 million unemployed, but that is basically all the unemployed we're gonna get. So all expansion from here on out will be slowly using up what we have for people. Okay, construction-wise, unemployed. We got unemployed there, so we'll build a bunch of construction sectors there. Got it unemployed there, so a bunch of construction sectors there. And there. That's basically going to be the unemployed we can turn into construction workers. So that's actually basically about as big as the construction sector is going to get. From here on out, it will be making the construction sector more efficient, not making it bigger. Though that is what we're working towards. It's pneumatic tools. Arc welding here has got arc welded buildings, which is the last construction sector tech PM. Need to put new stuff in the queue. I'm guessing it's merchant marine time, so we got 6,000 plus another 2,000. That's 8,000 merchant marine required. 20 merchant marine per dock, so if you divide by 2, 8 becomes 4. 4,000, drop a 0 to get how many merchant marine, or how many docks. So 400 docks. So we're putting unemployment. Looks like we'll put them mostly in Fujian. We'll do 50 here. 50 there. Oops, not 60, 50. And then I wanted 400, so that means 950 in each of these. I'm trying to bolster the power of the anarchist movement, and they're like, yeah, we like it too here. We like it here too much. Because the sporting pops is below a certain expected standard of living. So if our standard of living's too low or too high, then people don't want to be anarchists. Apparently. Trying to make anarchy a thing. It's probably not going to be a thing. It's what's going to happen here. Another step on corporate state. So I think we are going to actually crack. We're actually going to complete the fragile unity this run by stamping out monarchalism, because I think corporate state will stamp out monarchalism. Looks like the GDP is starting to recover from the labor saving. We're already back. We're actually up to 2 billion, so we're actually higher than we were before we applied the labor saving. don't. I'm at the point where I need to find something else to queue up. We're probably still working on that Merchant Marine, so let's not queue more Merchant Marine up right away. Groceries, we can do like 400 or 40 more groceries. And then we probably want to move on actually reducing grain prices. Sugar prices. Where can we make sugar? We're importing 30,000 sugar. 30,000 sugar plus another 12,000. So that's build all the sugar plantations. Okay, build all the sugar plantations. Tea's a little pricey. We're China and we're importing tea. Basically 2,000 tea. No, 20,000 tea that we're short. So 5 is 200. We want 20,000, so we want 50 tea plantations. And I suppose we should probably do some grain. We're importing less than I was expecting. Only 2,000 we're importing. Probably because as I'm dragging the food price down with groceries, they're swapping away from grain. But that's still 1,600 grain, so building a bunch of rice is not a bad idea. Maybe not quite as valuable as wheat farms, but still pretty valuable. Let's go ahead and crank out 200 rice farms. We'll put this instead where the peasants are the highest. Okay, let that build. That'll make more grain. And then I was going to do telephones next, I think. Yeah. Radios are coming up, but surprisingly don't have very much demand for radios. And the global market isn't quite caught on. The global market's definitely slowly catching on. Mechanization of farms. Welfare payments. I think that might technically actually raise my the money I'm paying in welfare payments, but probably fine. Yeah. Oh, I suppose I could go on to regulatory bodies. Residual category. Oh, here we go. We still got some ports apparently in construction. Though most of those are done, so do I want more? Alright. You know, we'll do the radios for the telephones first. So I've got basically 5,000 demand for telephones. So let's build 100 telephones, or 100 electrical industries. Sort by unemployed. There we go. Oh, and that apparently was just enough to fill the queue, and we need more immediately. Okay. That's about right. We're probably still in the queue being built. Can't really make more domestic rubber or more domestic oil, I believe. Yeah, no. Could do engines, but that's actually getting a bit cheap at that point. Furniture. Furniture. Let's say about 3,000 of furniture. So 10 is 500, so we want about 60 furniture factories. Like so. And yeah, at that point, I think all the port should be done. So we should have a rough read on how the Merchant Marine's looking. Okay, we're still importing it, but not by much. Would like to make more fish, but there's no more fish in the country to make. Is grain still in the queue? At this point, we've got like 30 pages of stuff, so yeah, the grain's still in the queue. Paper. 80,000 paper, so that's 80 paper makers. Anyway, 8,000, still 80 paper makers. Sure, closest. I give them hardwood. They give me a power block embassy. This is the aluminum part. Sure. I doubt I can bring them in. To the faction. No. Can I get investment rights from you? If I offered them an embassy. Sure. Let's make a cabaret. Center throughput, or... Yeah, we don't need even zone throughput, so take the authority. Oh, they really don't like us. Okay. And they don't like us, so they don't want us to support their independence. Okay. Gonna go for embassy, but that's just giving them stuff. It's like, hey, do you want a present? Like, no, that doesn't give us anything. Let's try to raise their opinion of us. That might not work, but we can try. And then our own subjects. Let's drop out of this conflict so we can evaluate what I'm trying to evaluate. Can I get you without a war to join peacefully? No, but that's also looking like there's nothing I can do to get them to join. Because them being aloof. Yeah. What's the cost of annexing you? No one's gonna come help you. It's gonna cost us like an amphibia. Okay. We're gonna do it. And then I need to put new stuff in the queue. You've already put you in the queue. I'm kind of legitimately running out of things to build. I suppose I could evaluate what is the trade center demand in country. So there's some surplus capacity there. Though, obviously, in theory, there's more potential than there is capacity. So I'm somewhat surprised we're not getting trade there. Yeah, we'll put a few in, even in places... Oh no, there's just no potential there. So that one you're saying you're actually pretty much done. Okay. I am confused, but that's me most of the time, apparently. How profitable are these ports? I might continue just building more ports. So 17 levels there is making 3k profit. So they're not very profitable. They are profitable. And this does mean they're making GDP. And they are increasing demand for steamers, which then we can make. Okay. So yeah, let's just make more ports. We do another like 100 ports. Just have something in the queue. Okay, max colonial affairs. We can go ahead and invest in that for poking down. We got the bureaucracy for it, so it's not a problem. Just do that. Pneumatic tools, more constructed throughput. Arc welding's next. And then at that point, I'm basically done with over this tree. We'll go to a different tree after that. Okay, need more stuff to build. Are we done with that paper, or is the paper still in the queue? Paper's still in the queue. Don't need more steel. We have a company making steel in theory, so they'll make more steel that way. Radios are probably at the point where I could just swap over a telephone maker to radios, but that's not a construction per se. What do you think about the new way of making treaties? It's a way. It works. Depending on what we want to do, it works better. Depending on what we want to do, it's a bit obtuse. It's not, say I wanted to say import something specifically, it's not particularly great. Though maybe East India is a bad choice for showing that. Great, if I want to come in here and say, hey, I want you to sell me something. It's hard to see when things are going to be viable or not by just looking at it, because there's a difference between like, oh, it's minus 50 or something, and there's like the default 300 or something. Lots of things there nowadays that are just because of people exploiting them are all down, thumbs down. The big thing is less more, or for me with this patch, is less more the making of treaties, but the international trade. International trade is a lot better. I finished the farms I was working on. Looks like it. So we could go ahead and put more grain farms in the queue. 9,000 plus basically 11,000. Okay, so we can probably just get away with another 200 rice farms. Sort by peasants, highest peasants. Yeah, close enough. Overbuilt a little bit there, but it'll be fine. Oh, and then one thing we can evaluate is electricity. Where's electricity shortages? There we go, much more electricity. That should get us a decent amount of GDP. Some of this is coming from urbanization. We do have subsidized urban centers on with electrical lighting. Okay, that's a queue that can keep us going for a little bit. We're pretty deficit spending right now, so I'm not going to want to drop our tariffs on any things we're exporting. Could try to do that with the automobiles. There's corporate state. Looks like this is another corporation. What would I want? Oil's not a bad choice. Not so interested in information speed. Migration traction is interesting in its own right. Power plant throughput of all things. Interesting. Don't think that's particularly strong though. Might do the engine and car maker, just because the cars are one of our exports. So that make the cars even more effective. So let's do that. The bonus on that's pretty weak, right? We're not really caring about the formation speed, but the throughput modifier on the cars and the engines is going to be nice. And then from a law standpoint, French choke is in it. Last, or we can take more radicals. We'll take more radicals. And we're not in a place where we can go ahead and vote for some voting laws. That was the fall of the Qing dynasty. We're now working on stamping out monarchalism. Should be something that just activated. Or does not activate. Might not activate because we're only in corporate state. I'm not seeing the list of potentials here. So those are, from a law standpoint, what else can we change? We can probably go ahead and could go migration controls. Could also do regulatory bodies. Let's do regulatory bodies. Make sure we collect all the taxes. Not that because we need to, but because I want to. Struggling a little bit with getting past 2 billion GDP. Guatemala offers to become a protectorate. Sure. Okay. Devastation hangs around forever. Okay, so we've basically worked our way through the queue. What do I want to build next? How do I get the food security? Anyway. Luxury-wise, we could build a bunch of meat. Got no real local source of sugar, so that has to be imported, so that's fine. Same with coffee. Actually, if I do have any coffee, queue that up. No domestic coffee plantations, okay. That sort of extraction is max, so we have to be expanding the world market. Okay. So yeah, meat is... all the demands that are easy to fulfill is probably the one I should go for right now. It's 35 meat each, so that's a lot of livestock ranches, like 200 livestock ranches. You know. Yeah, that functions. I'm both importing and exporting fine art, apparently. Though I suppose for fine art, that does make sense. It's something that would be plausible to want to both export and import. What I think I will do is, let's go in here, let's set over to abroad. Resource-wise, we will, in all the places we can make oil and rubber, we're going to queue up on oil and rubber. That way we get easier time trying to import it off the market. Yeah. So let's start with rubber because we have higher demand for that. Highest profitability places. We'll just slowly own the entire French market for the rubber. Okay, and then we'll do the same for oil. If we build it, hopefully they will show up to work those oil wells. Increasing the worldwide supply of oil. And then try to improve relations with the Americans. So maybe get investment rights with them. For similar reasons. Accidental depress for Russia. Just like the opinion boost with the Petit Bourgeoisie. Well, the loyalist boost with Petit Bourgeoisie, which probably is a loyalty boost as well. Oh, I need more things to build. Apparently everything in the queue is already being built. Lead is another thing. Probably want to go on the global market and build all the lead. Okay, and what am I thinking about? Still working arc welding. No, there's nothing to go there. Okay. And we don't need the bureaucracy for the regulatory application yet. For months, and we'll have you fully incorporated. Everyone here has a job, apparently. Railway isn't getting enough power. I think this is one place where we will have to go swap you over to diesel to try to get you a little bit more productive. Oh, even that's not really enough. Urban Center, you're already doing what you can. Just need to get more people to move there. Oh, we got Standard Oil, apparently. Direct action. Strikes over worker safety. Let's not take a throughput hit while we're trying to pass this. This is pretty much unresisted, so it should pass pretty easy. Can you give me investment rights? Yeah. Okay. Where else would I want investment rights? That would probably give it to me. Honestly, probably, well, maybe some people in the New World, but Chile, they'll give me investment rights, and a power block embassy, or nothing. That works for me. There's a ransom power block embassy for nothing. Investment rights power block embassy, you're gonna be a little, you're gonna want something for it. Defense pact, not enough. Trade privileges, not enough. Some money. Maybe. You also don't want the power block embassy, so let's drop the power block embassy off. Trade privileges, okay. Investment rights, okay. Yeah, 77% chance, we'll take that. Already have it with you, okay. Granada, I think you already have it with, or we can't get it with you, either way. Investment rights, power block, yep. Mexico, investment rights. Power block's gonna make it worse. We'll just do the investment rights and exchange your trade privileges. And then that, in theory, is giving me more places I can build up the rubber supply in. And maybe the lead. Okay. Lead. Yeah, see how that works. Oh, I got a front over there where we don't get anyone deployed. Let's get the 30,000 over there, so that we don't have a bad day with that war. We now have Korea, which should be incorporated within 5 years. The whole damage we've done to the country isn't going to recover in that amount of time, but... Assume we got railways everywhere there. Yep, it's Korea. It's got railways everywhere. Power plants. Yes, I should just be able to enable all the PMs that I want. No problem. Chemical fertilizers. Everything that can go on tractors is on tractors. That's wool gathering. Diesel pump. Dynamite. Steam donkey and rail transportation, please. Oops, no chainsaws. We're having to import oil, so I don't want to drive up the demand for oil a little too much. If I had like Persia or something, we'd probably be a little bit more ham on the oil. There isn't enough oil in China proper for it to work, so I'm mainly sticking to the PMs that it's productivity. We got some radio production. Don't need to swap it all over. Isn't enough that amount of demand for it. Publicly traded. There we go. So that's all the PMs updated. We'll give it a week to cycle, and then we'll probably evaluate both transport and electrical needs for the nation. So surprisingly, it's not Korea that needs most of it, but still some needed in Korea, so we'll go ahead and queue that up. Okay. Then electricity, that's probably going to be a little bit more needed in Korea. Okay. And we'll work through the queue for as long as it takes to get the queue, which won't take for very long. Working on arc welding, 16 months we'll have arc welding, which will be another expansion. Well, be the final expansion, pretty much, of the industry at that point, of the construction industry. Pasteurization, which I don't really care too much about. Got an occupation in Brazil expiring. Let's absolve them of that obligation. Probably not enough. Yeah, not enough to get the power block in, you see. Okay, we got some more domestic resources now that Korea is within the country. So let's go ahead and max out the Korean mines. Korean fishing industry. There we go. Got 6 million out in subsidies. A lot going out to the urban center, the steel mills. Yeah. only effort to encouraging depositing, encouraging reduction of the unemployment. Could probably make more meat. Let's drop the import tariff on meat so they can import it a bit. Same thing with coffee. We got no domestic production of it. Well, apparently I got pretty heavy demand for tea. 16,000 tea coming in with another 7,000 not being supplied. Maybe I should do a tea expansion next. 3,000, basically 24,000. Okay. So for tea, 100 is 4,000, so it's 600 tea plantations. Okay. Okay, most of these places aren't actually short on infrastructure so much as they're just short on workers. But let's get the ones that at least might be solvable with just more railways done with railways. Okay, obviously I've just got too much demanded here. Oh, let's put the railways back on diesel. Let's let the urban center drop to gas and stop subsidizing the urban center. Ports are still in coal. Let's not subsidize the whaling here. Gold mine's the gold mine. Subsidizing you. You. And you. Logic is free up some workers to actually work the railway in the power plant. Mainly the railway, because we don't have enough infrastructure here. Pull up the bill. Got about 20 years left in the game, but looking at the time, now is a good time to put a part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow, because I'm going to record one more part tonight. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to mute the mic shortly during the part break just to sip a little bit of tea, so you don't have to hear me slurping. But then we're going to get right back to playing. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.